The vastness of space stretched out before the U.S. horizon, humanity's most advanced deep space exploration vessel. Captain Elara Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the star-studded void beyond the viewscreen. After months of travel through uncharted territory, the crew was restless, eager for discovery. "Captain," called out Lieutenant Ravi Sharma from his station at the sensor array. "I'm picking up an anomalous energy signature. It's unlike anything in our database." Chen's heart quickened. This could be it, the breakthrough they've been searching for. "On screen, Lieutenant." The main view screen flickered to life, displaying a swirling mass of blue-green energy. It pulsed and shifted, defying any known natural phenomenon. "Analysis?" Chen asked, her voice steady despite the excitement building within her. Chief Science Officer Dr. Zara Okoro stepped forward, her brow furrowed in concentration. "It appears to be some sort of spatial distortion, Captain. But the energy readings, they're off the charts. This couldn't have formed naturally." Chen nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Are you saying what I think you're saying, Doctor?" Okoro met her gaze, eyes wide with wonder. "Yes, Captain. I believe we may have just discovered evidence of an advanced alien civilization." A hush fell over the bridge, the weight of the moment settling on every crew member. They were on the brink of making history, the first humans to encounter proof of intelligent extraterrestrial life. "Helm, take us closer," Chen ordered, "but maintain a safe distance. We don't know what we're dealing with here." As the horizon edged closer to the anomaly, the energy patterns began to shift more rapidly. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light engulfed the ship, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. When the light faded, Chen blinked in astonishment. Where the energy distortion had been, a massive structure now hung in space. Its sleek, organic lines spoke of technology far beyond human capabilities. "My God," whispered Commander Jack Foster, Chen's first officer. "It's a ship." Before Chen could respond, the comm system crackled to life. A series of musical tones filled the bridge, rising and falling in a complex pattern. It's trying to communicate," Okoro breathed, her fingers flying over her console. "The universal translator is struggling, but I think—" She was cut off as a holographic image materialized in the center of the bridge. A tall, willowy figure stood before them, its skin a shifting pattern of iridescent scales. Large, almond-shaped eyes regarded the humans with unmistakable intelligence. Chen stepped forward, her training kicking in despite her awe. "I am Captain Elara Chen of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." The alien tilted its head, seemingly considering her words. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke, not in its musical language, but in perfect English. "Greetings, humans," it said, its voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "I am Xinixa, emissary of the Lutung Collective. We have been observing your species for some time, waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves." Chen's mind raced with questions. How long had they been watching? What were their intentions? But diplomatic instinct prevailed. "We are honored to make your acquaintance, Xinixa. Your technology is remarkable." The alien's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. "As is your courage, Captain Chen, to venture so far from your home, driven by nothing more than curiosity and the desire for knowledge. It is a trait we find intriguing." There was something in Xinix's tone that sent a shiver down Chen's spine. Admiration, certainly, but also something else. Calculation, perhaps. "We would be grateful for the opportunity to learn from you," Chen said carefully, "to exchange knowledge and culture." Xinix's eyes seemed to gleam. "Oh yes, Captain, we have much to share with you. But first, we must test the true measure of humanity. Are you prepared for that?" Before Chen could respond, the alien ship suddenly pulsed with energy. The horizon shuddered, systems flickering. "Captain," Foster called out, "we're caught in some kind of tractor beam. They're pulling us in." Chen opened her mouth to order evasive maneuvers, but another flash of light enveloped them. When it cleared, she found herself no longer on the bridge of the horizon, but in a vast alien chamber. Her entire senior staff stood beside her, looking as disoriented as she felt. Zynexa materialized before them, flanked by other Lurtan. "Welcome aboard, humans," the alien said, that unsettling not-quite smile still in place. "Your trial begins now." As Chen looked around at the alien technology surrounding them, at her crew's mix of fear and determination, she knew that everything was about to change. Humanity's first contact would not be the peaceful exchange of knowledge she had hoped for. Instead, it would be a test, one that would push them to their very limits. "What kind of trial?" Chen asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Zinex's eyes seemed to pulse with an inner light. "A trial of intellect, of adaptability, of the very essence of what makes you human. We have studied your kind from afar, Captain Chen. Now we wish to see firsthand if you are truly worthy of joining the galactic community." Chen squared her shoulders, feeling the weight of not just her crew, but all of humanity resting upon her. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew they would face them with all the ingenuity, courage, and determination that had carried their species to the stars. "We're ready," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. "Humanity has never backed down from a challenge, and we won't start now." Zinex's expression was unreadable, but there was a hint of approval in its voice. "Then let us begin, humans. Show us what you're truly capable of." As the alien chamber around them began to shift and change, reconfiguring itself into what would become their testing ground, Chen exchanged glances with her crew. In their eyes, she saw the same mix of fear and excitement, the same burning curiosity that had driven them to explore the unknown reaches of space. Whatever trials the Lurtan had in store for them, Chen knew one thing for certain: this was humanity's moment to prove itself on the galactic stage, and they would not be found wanting. Cultural clash. As the alien chamber settled into its new configuration, Captain Chen and her crew found themselves surrounded by a series of complex, interconnected machines. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing streams of data in an incomprehensible alien script. Zynexa gestured towards the machinery. "Your first trial, humans, is one of understanding. These systems control vital functions of our ship. Your task is to decipher their purpose and optimize their performance." Dr. Okoro stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding her apprehension. "May I?" she asked, reaching towards one of the displays. Zynexa inclined its head. "You may interact with the systems as you see fit, but be warned, any mistake could have consequences." The ominous tone in the alien's voice sent a chill through the group. Captain Chen nodded to her crew. "Let's get to work. Dr. Okoro, focus on deciphering that script. Lieutenant Sharma, see if you can make sense of these energy readings. Commander Foster, you're with me. Let's try to get an overview of how these systems interconnect." As the humans set to their tasks, Zynexa and the other Lurtan observed silently. Hours passed, filled with intense concentration, heated debates, and moments of breakthrough. "Captain," Okoro called out, excitement in her voice. "I think I've cracked it. The script isn't just a language, it's a mathematical code. Each symbol represents a complex equation." Chen felt a surge of pride. "Excellent work, Doctor. How does this help us?" Okoro's fingers flew over the holographic interface. "If I'm right, we can use these equations to model the ship's systems. Look here, this sequence seems to represent power distribution." As the humans continued to unravel the mysteries of the alien technology, Chen noticed a change in the Lurtan's demeanor. The aliens were communicating among themselves in rapid, musical tones, their expressions a mix of surprise and, was that concern? Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The holographic displays flashed red, and the machinery around them began to pulse with energy. "What's happening?" Chen demanded, turning to Zynexa. The alien's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. You've managed to access our primary systems. How did you decipher our biohithmic encryption so quickly? Before Chen could respond, Foster called out, "Captain, I think we've accidentally initiated some kind of overload sequence. The power levels are spiking dangerously." Chen's mind raced. They'd come too far to fail now. "Dr. Okoro, can you reverse the process?" The scientist shook her head, frustration evident. "The system's locked us out. We need a direct neural interface to override it." Chen turned to Xinixa. "Your ship is in danger. We can help, but we need your assistance. Will you trust us?" For a long moment, Xinixa stared at Chen, its alien features unreadable. Then, to everyone's surprise, it stepped forward. "What do you require?" "A direct link between you and our scientist," Chen said. "Your understanding of the systems and Dr. Okoro's insights might be our only chance." Xinixa hesitated, then nodded. It extended a hand towards Okoro, its skin shimmering with bioluminescent patterns. As their fingers touched, both human and alien gasped. What followed was a flurry of activity that the observing crew could barely follow. Okoro's hands moved across the interfaces at impossible speeds, guided by the alien knowledge flowing through her. Holographic displays flickered and changed, the red warning signals gradually fading. With a final, resonant tone, the alarms fell silent. The chamber's oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the machinery settled into a steady, harmonious hum. Xinixa broke the connection with Okoro, its eyes wide with what could only be described as awe. "Remarkable," it breathed. "Your minds, they're so different from ours. So adaptable, so quick to form new connections." Chen stepped forward. "We've passed your trial then." The alien shook its head. "No, Captain. You've exceeded it in ways we never anticipated. This was meant to be a simple test of problem-solving, not this." There was a new respect in Xinixa's voice, but also a hint of wariness. "You've demonstrated great potential, humans, but also great danger. The ease with which you interface with our systems, the speed of your learning, it is both impressive and alarming." Chen felt a swell of pride, tempered with caution. "We mean you no harm, Xinixa. Our goal is understanding, not conquest." The alien nodded slowly. "Perhaps, but intentions can change, Captain, and power can corrupt." Before Chen could respond, the chamber shimmered around them. When their vision cleared, they found themselves back on the bridge of the horizon. Xinix's holographic form appeared before them. "We must convene with the collective to discuss these developments. You've given us much to consider, humans. For now, you are free to continue your explorations, but know that you are being watched." As the hologram faded, Chen turned to her crew. The excitement of their accomplishment was tempered by the weight of Xinix's words. "Well," Foster said, breaking the silence, "that could have gone better." Chen shook her head. "I'm not so sure, Commander. We've proven ourselves in ways they never expected. That's bound to cause some cultural friction." Okoro flexed her fingers, still tingling from the alien connection. "Captain, the things I saw in Xinix's mind, their civilization, their technology, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. And now they're afraid of us," Sharma added, "of what we might become." Chen gazed out at the stars, her mind racing with the implications of their encounter. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. A little fear might make them take us seriously. But we need to tread carefully from here on out. The stakes just got a lot higher. As the horizon resumed its journey, the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they were now part of something much bigger than their original mission. They had taken humanity's first steps onto the galactic stage, and the universe was watching. Little did they know, their trials were far from over. The true test of humanity's place among the stars was just beginning. Unexpected alliance. Days passed with no further contact from the Lertan. The crew of the Horizon found themselves on edge, constantly scanning for any sign of the alien ship. Captain Chen had ordered them to continue their original mission of exploration, but everyone knew their priorities had shifted dramatically. As they approached an uncharted solar system, Alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. "Captain," Lieutenant Sharma called out, his fingers flying over his console. "Multiple unknown vessels approaching at high speed. They're not Lurtan." Chen's eyes narrowed. On screen, the view screen flickered to life, revealing a swarm of sleek, predatory-looking ships. Their design was completely alien, all sharp angles and pulsing energy weapons. "They're charging weapons," Foster reported, his voice tense. Chen didn't hesitate. "Shields up. Evasive maneuvers. Hail them on all frequencies." But before they could act, space itself seemed to tear open. The massive Lurtan ship materialized between the horizon and the approaching hostiles. Xinx's hologram appeared on the bridge. "Captain Chen, you must leave immediately. The Vorax have found you." "The Vorax?" Chen asked, even as Foster guided the ship into a defensive position. "A warrior race," Xinxa explained quickly. "They seek to destroy all emerging spacefaring civilizations. We've kept them at bay for centuries, but now..." The aliens' words were cut off as a barrage of energy weapons slammed into the Lurtan ship's shields. "Their weapons," Okoro gasped, reading the sensor data. "They're like nothing we've ever seen. The Lurtan shields are failing." Chen made a split-second decision. Divert all power to weapons. Target the lead Vorax ship. "Captain," Foster protested, "our technology is no match for theirs." "Maybe not," Chen replied, a determined glint in her eye. "But they don't know that. Sometimes the appearance of strength is enough. Fire." The horizon's energy beams lanced out, striking the Vorax vessel. To everyone's shock, the alien ship's shields flickered and failed. Xinx's hologram turned to Chen, surprise evident in its alien features. How did you penetrate their defenses?" Chen allowed herself a small smile. "We didn't. Your shields weakened them. We just found the gap and exploited it. Now, are we going to work together, or what?" For a moment, Xinxa seemed to hesitate. Then it nodded. "Very well, Captain. It seems we underestimated you once again. What do you propose?" As the battle raged around them, Chen quickly outlined her plan. The Horizon's agility and the humans' unpredictable tactics, combined with the Lurtan's advanced technology, might just give them an edge. What followed was a dance of death and destruction unlike anything the human crew had ever experienced. The Horizon darted between Vorax ships, its weapons finding weak points that the Lurtan's more powerful but less flexible systems couldn't exploit. Meanwhile, the Lurtan vessel provided cover, its massive energy shields absorbing the brunt of the Vorax assault. In the midst of the chaos, Dr. Okoro made a startling discovery. "Captain, the Vorax ships, their energy signatures are all linked. If we can disrupt the lead ship's power core, it might create a cascade effect." Chen nodded. "Xinxa, can you get us close to their flagship?" The alien's hologram flickered, its voice strained. "Our shields are nearly depleted, but yes, we can give you one chance." "That's all we need," Chen said, her voice filled with determination. "Helm, prepare for an attack run. All power to weapons." The Horizon streaked towards the massive Vorax flagship, dodging energy blasts and debris. At the last moment, Chen gave the order. "Fire everything we've got." The human ship's weapons, augmented by a final energy burst from the Lurtan vessel, struck the Vorax ship's vulnerable power core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, like a string of firecrackers, the Vorax fleet began to explode, ship after ship overloading in a spectacular chain reaction. As the final explosions faded, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. The bridge crew of the Horizon looked at each other in disbelief. They had just participated in, and won, their first interstellar battle. Xinx's hologram reappeared, its alien features a mix of exhaustion and admiration. "Captain Chen, humans, you have saved not only yourselves but us as well. We owe you a debt." Chen shook her head. "No debt, Xinxa. This is what allies do for each other." The alien was silent for a moment, then nodded slowly. Allies. Yes, perhaps that is what we are now. Your tactics, your adaptability, they're unlike anything we have encountered. We have much to learn from each other. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Chen felt the weight of what had just occurred settle on her shoulders. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage, but at what cost? And what new challenges would this victory bring? We should return to Earth, Foster said quietly. They need to know what's out here. Chen nodded, her gaze fixed on the stars beyond the view screen. Yes, but not yet. There's still so much we don't understand. The Vorax, the wider galactic community. We need more information before we risk drawing attention to our homeworld. She turned to Zinx's hologram. If you're willing, we'd like to continue our mission of exploration. But this time, with the benefit of your knowledge and guidance. Zinxa seemed to consider this for a moment. The collective may not approve. Your species has proven unpredictable. But perhaps that is exactly what this galaxy needs in the face of threats like the Vorax. The alien's form shimmered, as if coming to a decision. Very well, Captain Chen. Let us explore the stars together. But be warned, the challenges you have faced so far are but a taste of what lies ahead. Are you prepared for that? Chen looked around at her crew, seeing the same mix of determination and excitement in their eyes that she felt. We're humans, Zinxa, she said with a smile. We're always ready for a challenge. As the Horizon and the Lurton ship set a course for the unknown, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. They had taken their first steps into a larger universe, and there was no turning back. Whatever trials lay ahead, humanity would face them head-on with courage, ingenuity, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. The true test of their species was just beginning. The ultimate test. As the U.S. Horizon and the Lurton vessel journeyed deeper into uncharted space, Captain Chen found herself marveling at the strange alliance they had forged. The initial wariness between humans and Lurtan had given way to a cautious but growing respect, as both species learned from each other's strengths. Dr. Okoro had taken to spending long hours in scientific exchange with the Lurtan, her eyes alight with the joy of discovery. Lieutenant Sharma had been working closely with their alien counterparts to integrate some of the Lurtan's advanced sensor technology into the Horizon's systems. Even the usually stoic Commander Foster had begun to show a grudging admiration for their new allies' capabilities. But their period of mutual discovery was abruptly cut short when both ships' sensors detected an anomaly unlike anything they had encountered before. "Captain," Sharma called out, his voice tinged with awe and confusion. "You're going to want to see this." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a massive structure floating in the void of space. It was a perfect sphere, its surface a shifting maze of intricate patterns that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Zinx's hologram materialized on the bridge, its alien features set in an expression of reverence. "The Nexus," it breathed. "We thought it was just a legend." "Care to fill us in?" Chen asked, her eyes never leaving the enigmatic sphere. "The Nexus is said to be the ultimate test," Zinxa explained. "A relic left behind by the precursors, the first intelligent species to arise in our galaxy. It is said to contain knowledge and power beyond imagination, but only for those worthy to claim it." Foster frowned. "And how exactly does one prove their worthiness?" As if in answer to his question, a beam of energy shot out from the Nexus, engulfing both the Horizon and the Lurtan ship. Chen tensed, expecting alarms to blare, but nothing happened. The ships remained unharmed. Then a voice, if it could be called that, reverberated through their minds. It was neither male nor female, neither young nor old. It simply was. "You have chosen," it intoned. "Enter and be JEGET." Before anyone could react, the world around them shifted. Chen found herself, along with her senior staff and a group of Lurtan including Zinxa, standing in a vast chamber within the Nexus. The walls pulsed with living light, and at the center stood a pillar of swirling energy. As they watched, images began to form within the pillar, scenes of galactic warfare, of planets dying, of entire civilizations falling to ruin. The voice said, "The future that tears if the unluorthy gain our power." Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you want from us?" "Prove your worth," the voice replied. "Face your greatest fears, your deepest fears. Only those who master themselves can hope to master the power we offer her." Suddenly, the chamber dissolved around them. Chen found herself alone in a simulation of Earth's orbit, watching helplessly as Vorax ships descended upon her homeworld. She knew it wasn't real, but the sight of cities burning, of millions dying because she had failed to warn them in time, tore at her very soul. Each member of the group faced their own personal hell. Foster relived the loss of his family in a space station accident. Okoro confronted a future where her scientific discoveries led to the destruction of entire worlds. The Lotan faced visions of their own civilization crumbling under the weight of their own arrogance and fear. Hours or days might have passed. Time had no meaning in this place. When Chen finally broke free of her vision, tears streaming down her face, she found the others similarly shaken. "How?" she gasped. "How do we stop this?" Zinixa, its usually composed demeanor shattered, turned to her with desperation in its alien eyes. I don't know. Our technology, our knowledge, it all seems so insignificant in the face of this." As the group grappled with what they had seen, the pillar of energy at the center of the chamber flared to life once more. This time, it showed scenes of cooperation, humans and Lurtan working together, sharing knowledge, overcoming challenges that neither could have faced alone. "Potential," the voice said, "but potential alone is not enough." The chamber began to shift again, reconfiguring itself into a complex array of alien machinery. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing streams of data that made even the most advanced Lurtan technology look primitive by comparison. "Your final test," the voice announced. "Unravel the mysteries of creation itself, CUCCED, and the power of the peculiarities will be yours to wield. Fail, and all you know who will be erased from existence." Chen looked at her crew, then at their Lurtan allies. She saw fear in their eyes, yes, but also determination. They had come too far to give up now. "Together," she said, her voice steady despite the enormity of the challenge before them. "We do this together." As humans and Lurtan alike set to work, poring over the incomprehensible data and struggling to make sense of the alien systems, Chen couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. They were facing the ultimate test, not just of their knowledge or their technology, but of their very nature as sentient beings. And as she watched her crew work seamlessly alongside their former adversaries, adapting and innovating in ways that surprised even the Lurtan, Chen realized that perhaps this was the true power the precursors sought to bestow. Not godlike technology or unlimited energy, but the ability to overcome differences, to learn and grow together in the face of impossible odds. The fate of not just their own species, but of the entire galaxy now rested in their hands. As the clock ticked down and the challenges mounted, one thing became clear. This would be humanity's defining moment. Everything they had faced, everything they had learned, had led them to this point. Now, they just had to prove they were worthy of the legacy the precursors sought to bestow. Triumph of humanity. The chamber of the Nexus hummed with energy as humans and Lurtan worked feverishly to decipher the precursors' ultimate puzzle. Holographic displays flickered and shifted, responding to their touch and thought in ways that defied conventional understanding of user interfaces. Captain Chen moved from station to station, her mind racing to connect the disparate pieces of information her crew and their alien allies were uncovering. She could feel the pressure of time bearing down on them, though no clock was visible. The fate of everything they knew hung in the balance. "Captain," Dr. Okoro called out, her voice tight with excitement and frustration. "I think I found something, but it doesn't make sense." Chen hurried over, Zinxa floating close behind. "What is it, Doctor?" Okoro's fingers danced over the holographic controls, bringing up a complex series of equations. These formulas, they're describing the fundamental forces of the universe, but in a way I've never seen before. It's as if they're all interconnected, all part of a single unified theory. Zinix's eyes widened. The grand unification theory. Our scientists have sought this for millennia. "But that's not all," Okoro continued. "Look here. These variables, they're not static. They're changing, adapting." A light of understanding dawned in Chen's eyes. "It's not just a theory of how the universe works," she breathed. "It's a blueprint for how to reshape it." The implications were staggering. With this knowledge, they could potentially alter the very fabric of reality itself. But as Chen looked around at the faces of her crew and their Lutan allies, she saw not greed or lust for power, but awe and a deep sense of responsibility. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The holographic displays turned red, flashing warnings in an alien script that somehow they all understood. "The Nexus," Sinixa said, its voice filled with dread. "It's destabilizing. The power contained within. It's too much for the structure to hold." Chen's mind raced. They had solved the puzzle, unlocked the secrets of the precursors, but at what cost? If the Nexus collapsed, it could take half the galaxy with it. "There has to be a way to contain it," Foster said, his hands flying over the controls. "To channel that energy safely." As the chamber shuddered around them, Chen had a sudden wild idea. "What if we don't contain it?" she said. "What if we use it?" All eyes turned to her, human and alien alike. "The grand unification theory," Chen continued, her voice gaining strength. "It shows how everything is connected. What if we use that connection to spread the energy throughout the galaxy, to every star, every planet, every living thing?" Okoro's eyes widened. "A network. We turn the entire galaxy into a network to absorb and distribute the energy." "Is such a thing even possible?" Zinxa asked, awe and fear mingling in its voice. Chen met the alien's gaze. "I don't know, but it's our only chance." As the Nexus groaned and twisted around them, humans and Lutan worked as one. Fingers flew over controls, minds merged with the alien technology, pushing the boundaries of what they thought possible. Chen stood at the center, directing the flow of information, making split-second decisions that could determine the fate of billions. She felt the weight of that responsibility, but also a sense of clarity she had never known before. Just when it seemed the Nexus would tear itself apart, something shifted. The warnings faded, replaced by a soft, pulsing glow that spread from the chamber to envelop their ships, then the nearby stars, and outward in an ever-expanding wave. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, every being in the galaxy was connected. Chen gasped as she felt the minds of countless alien races touch her own, a vast tapestry of thought and emotion that transcended language and physical form. And then, as suddenly as it began, it was over. The chamber of the Nexus was silent, the holographic displays dark. Did we do it?" Foster asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Before anyone could answer, the voice of the precursors filled the chamber once more. But this time, it was not the booming, impartial tone they had heard before. It was softer, almost proud. "UAKVESCEEDD," it said. "Where seriously others failed, you saw not really peculiarities only. The royal potency ability to kill an ECT. UAKEPRVN, you are CLVS worthy." The chamber shimmered, and they found themselves back on their respective ships. But something had changed. Chen could feel it in the air, in the very atoms of her being. Xinx's hologram appeared on the horizon's bridge, its alien features alight with wonder. "Captain Chen," it said, "are you sensing this?" Chen nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "We did it, Xinxa. We united the galaxy." As reports began to flood in from across known space, the true magnitude of what they had accomplished became clear. The energy of the Nexus had not destroyed or reshaped the galaxy, but it had changed it in subtle yet profound ways. Species that had been at war for centuries found themselves able to understand each other in ways they never had before. Scientific breakthroughs were happening at an unprecedented rate as the shared knowledge of the precursors filtered through the collective consciousness of the galaxy. And humanity, the newcomers to the galactic stage, found themselves at the center of it all. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged not as conquerors, but as uniters. As the horizon set a course for Earth, Captain Chen gazed out at the stars. They looked the same as they always had, and yet everything had changed. Humanity's journey among the stars was just beginning, but they had already left an indelible mark on the cosmos. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them not alone, but as part of a vast, interconnected galactic community. And that, Chen realized, was the greatest triumph of all. A new era. The U.S. Horizon's return to Earth marked the dawn of a new era for humanity. As the ship descended through the atmosphere, Captain Chen felt a mix of emotions she couldn't quite put into words. They were returning as heroes, yes, but also as harbingers of a change so profound it would alter the course of human history forever. News of their arrival had spread quickly, and crowds had gathered to witness the momentous event. As Chen and her crew stepped onto solid ground for the first time in months, they were met with a cacophony of cheers, questions, and flashing cameras. But it wasn't just humans waiting to greet them. To the astonishment of the crowds, a delegation of Lirtan, led by Xinxa, had accompanied the Horizon. The sight of the alien beings, their iridescent scales shimmering in the sunlight, sent a ripple of awe and excitement through the assembled masses. As Chen stepped up to the podium to address the world, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. How could she possibly convey the magnitude of what they had experienced, of what had changed? "People of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil, "we set out on a mission of exploration, seeking new worlds and new civilizations. What we found was beyond our wildest imaginations." She went on to describe their encounters with the Lirtan, the battle against the Vorax, and finally, the test of the Nexus. As she spoke, holographic displays showed images of their journey, giving the world its first glimpse of the wonders and terrors that awaited them among the stars. "But our greatest discovery," Chen continued, "was not a place or a technology. It was the realization that in the vast tapestry of the cosmos, we are all connected, human, Lirtan, and countless other species we have yet to meet. We are all part of something greater than ourselves." She gestured to Xinxa, who stepped forward. The alien's melodious voice carried across the hushed crowd. "People of Earth, we come not as conquerors or mere allies, but as fellow travelers on the cosmic journey. The energy of the Nexus has bound us all together in ways we are only beginning to understand. We stand ready to share our knowledge, our technology, and our friendship." In the days and weeks that followed, the world struggled to come to terms with this new reality. The revelation that humanity was not alone in the universe, that they were now part of a vast galactic community, sent shockwaves through every facet of society. Governments scrambled to adapt to this new paradigm. The United Nations quickly evolved into the beginnings of a global government, necessary to present a unified human front in galactic affairs. Scientists worked around the clock, collaborating with Lirtan experts to unlock the secrets of advanced technologies that had once seemed like science fiction. But it wasn't just in the realms of politics and science that changes were felt. The shared consciousness that had briefly united the galaxy during the Nexus event had left its mark. People around the world reported increased empathy, flashes of insight into fields they had never studied, and a growing sense of connection not just to other humans, but to the cosmos itself. Art and culture flourished as humanity grappled with its new place in the universe. Music incorporated alien harmonies, literature explored themes of cosmic unity, and philosophy underwent a renaissance as people sought to understand the deeper implications of their new reality. Yet, as with any great change, there were those who resisted. Some feared the loss of human identity in the face of alien influence. Others saw the advanced technology as a threat to traditional ways of life. Protests and counter-protests sprang up around the world as humanity struggled to find its footing in this new cosmic order. Through it all, Captain Chen and her crew found themselves at the center of the storm. They were hailed as heroes, sought after as advisors, and sometimes targeted by those who feared the changes they represented. 6 months after their return, Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed space elevator, looking down at the blue marble of Earth. Beside her, Zinix's holographic form shimmered into existence. "Your world is changing quickly," the alien observed. "Are they ready for what comes next?" Chen smiled, a mix of pride and determination in her eyes. "Ready or not, we have to be. The galaxy is waiting, and humanity has never been one to shrink from a challenge." As if on cue, alert chimed on her communicator. A new anomaly had been detected at the edge of the solar system, possibly a wormhole to unexplored regions of space. "Duty calls," Chen said, straightening her uniform. "Care to join us for another adventure, old friend?" Zinix's form seemed to pulse with excitement. "Always, Captain. The journey has only just begun." As they made their way to the newly commissioned USS Unity, a ship built with a fusion of human ingenuity and Lutan technology, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. The ultimate test had been passed, but the true challenge, guiding humanity into its new role in the cosmic community, was ongoing. Whatever lay beyond that mysterious anomaly, whatever new wonders or dangers awaited them in the vast expanse of the universe, Chen knew one thing for certain: humanity would face it with courage, curiosity, and an unshakable belief in the power of unity. The stars were calling, and this time, humanity was ready to answer.